On this episode of DC On Screen, Jason Momoa is excited. And so are we. He's really excited.
Such a subtle guy.
Right after this.
You think of Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse. Where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 528. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. Mm-hmm. This, the man who tattooed his entire body with the exact color of his skin, Jason Goss.
Hi. It was pointless, it was painful, and expensive.
Inexpensive, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, very expensive. But I regret nothing, looking back.
It was an experience.
Yeah. Now
Something
when I
to tell your daughter
sunburn,
about.
I don't actually show it. I just have the intense fiery pain on the entirety of my skin. And you're like, what's wrong? And then you can't see anything.
And at least this way you don't have to worry about it fading as you get older.
Oh yeah.
Just
but
your spirit.
I must look like I have neuropathy for a lot of people though. Just inexplicable nerve pain.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Bought that tattoo artist a swimming pool.
And he spent it all on coke.
Right, probably.
Instead of the swimming pool.
Right. No control once it leaves your hands, man.
Well, you do what you can.
Yeah.
So, shall we get into it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, first up, we got Aquaman numbers. We got an Aquaman numbers update. Mm-hmm. 328,996,000 for domestic.
Not bad at all.
Worldwide, though,
Mm-hmm.
1,121,496,222. So,
My.
doing well.
My.
It's beaten Deadpool 2 at the all-time domestic box office list. It's beaten Suicide Squad domestically. Wow. It's impressive.
All for a man who talks to fish.
Yeah. Yep.
That's quite something.
It is. By the way, it'll also be it'll be landing on digital platforms March 5th, and then it's going to hit DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K on March 26th. And you can already pre-order it.
Of course. Now, I'm not a huge fan of boycotts, and because I feel like the word gets thrown around too much right now. And, but I'm doing a personal... I'm not doing the digitals at any point anymore. I think that's a thing I'm doing.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
I mean, I was trying it for a second, and I wouldn't get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
No bueno for me.
I hear you. Kind
of wish they'd stop with that crap, but okay.
Well,
fine.
When they put it on a Blu-ray, it'll be like Blu-ray plus digital, so...
I know. It's a weird phenomenon that I wish would stop, but in any case...
I do too.
Aquaman, great movie, killing it, deserves all it's getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Wrap is reporting that David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick has signed on to write the script for the sequel. He co-wrote the first movie with Will Beall.
Oh, good.
So yeah. Now this
I'm
was weird.
surprised
Caught
I
a lot
forgot
of people
someone
off
with like
guard.
6 names, but I did.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I did. I for sure did.
This caught a lot of people off guard, including myself, but it makes total sense. They are developing. That's the key word. That's the operative word here. Mm-hmm. Developing an Aquaman spinoff called The Trench.
I heard some rumblings of that. Yeah.
Little hubbub.
Mm-hmm.
Little falderall.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Ballyhoo. Hullabaloo, whatever.
So Warner Brothers has hired Noah Gardner and Aidan Fitzgerald to write what is being referred to as a horror-tinged script centered on the Trench, who were the amphibious creatures in that one fantastic sequence in Aquaman. Not that they only had one fantastic sequence in Aquaman, but it was a fantastic sequence and very memorable.
It really was a series of fantastic sequences.
It really was.
It's a cinematic masterpiece, man.
Yeah, and they're saying...
it's so hard to believe that movie looked that good, but damn, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was a particularly good scene. Oh, it was so eye-catching in the trailer, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Good great one shot.
It was.
Just great one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And they're saying Yeah, and they're saying that this is going to be very modestly budgeted.
Okay.
So James Wan and Peter Safran are producing it, and there has been some speculation, I'll say, that they might be using a script they previously wrote that was a submarine thriller. But we don't have confirmation on that. We don't know.
It would be
a lot of
irrelevant
people
if they adapt it well. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
No.
A lot of people are being dickholes about it, though. I mean, as you would imagine, nobody wants this. I'm not going to say, like I said on Twitter, I'm not going to say I want it, but I'm open to it. It might be great. Who knows?
I'm not turning it down. No, really not.
So Scott Mendelson on Twitter wrote, The Trench Aquaman spinoff is essentially applying the Conjuring universe model to DC Films' brand. So you liked this killer doll in that one scene or that scary nun in the other scene? Enjoy a whole movie about that killer doll or another movie with that evil nun. And James Wan responded, during the early stages of production, I fell in love with the Trench and its designs and secretly hoped to explore this world further, / more. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not confirming or denying the project. Winky face.
All right, two things. One, is that supposed to be a catty comment? Because if so, screw that guy.
Oh, Mendelssohn's notorious for that.
Of course. All right, so just making sure before I was mad at him. But yeah, screw that guy. Like,
yeah, be mad at him. Who cares?
Whatever, man. This has worked before. All right, here's one of my favorite little backstories about the CW verse. Is Berlanti made Arrow, and that went over well. And a couple years in, he was like, he told one of his producers, I forget who it was on Fat Man on Batman. He told somebody like, I can do it now. We have the leverage we need. Mm-hmm. He said, what do you mean? We're gonna make the Flash. That was apparently something he wanted to do the entire time.
Yeah.
He had designs on it, just going from day one, and just
well, sure,
had to make a proof of concept that worked, that everybody was into, and then he was able to sell the other stuff he really wanted to get. Now he's literally set records for being like in charge of the most, or producer on the most series ongoing at one time, I think is the title he has. Mm-hmm. Literally set the record in the history of Hollywood. And most of them are really friggin' good shows.
Yeah.
Surprising, but
now look, the Hollywood Reporter's Richard Newby wrote an article called "The Potential of an Aquaman Cinematic Universe," and I'll provide a link in the show notes. And just a couple of the bits that I really want to talk about here that he wrote. He says, with an immediacy only legions of comic book fans can muster, many balked at the idea that the Trench and questioned the purpose of such a film when so many other superheroes lie in wait. As much as we'd all love to see Henry Cavill redon the cape in a new Superman movie, a modestly budgeted DC horror film isn't stealing that spot. It's expanding a universe and making good on the potential of Aquaman. The film's marketing suggested an epic fantasy that could stand alongside the likes of Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings. That's exactly what we got, so it stands to reason that the world of Aquaman, Atlantis, and the seas beyond would get this kind of fantasy exploration. As a concept, the Trench are certainly worthy of the attention. James Wan retweeted that article and said, thank you. What I do in my little corner does not affect other projects from getting made. Aquaman was always about building a bigger, unique world within itself. There are many adventures within the seven seas. Parentheses. Now, I'm not saying this is actually happening.
You're just saying there's plenty of runway.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not like Warner Brothers has X amount of people and they're not going to hire anybody else. If there's money in it, they'll hire people.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I talked to a guy today that said he will buy a $35,000 piece of equipment if he's going to make $1. Because he's going to make $1. Who cares? I make $35,001. I do that a bunch of times. I'll make money. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll make $1. Sometimes I'll make 100,000. Who cares? Eventually it'll average out, and it's like, I have nothing to say for that philosophy. That sounds great, and you're making tons of money. Whatever.
All right.
Made sense to me.
All right. So today on Instagram, Jason Momoa posted an interesting video. He literally just pulls it. He's like, this is so cool. I'm just pulling right up in front of Warner Brothers, like just main offices, pulling up. He's wearing his Hawaiian shirt that he's wearing for good luck. He says he goes in. Then when he's coming out, he is like running down the hallways, yelling, excited, yeehawing, yang, yeah, doing that.
They shouldn't have given him coffee during the meeting.
Yeah, runs down the stairs and says, "You have no idea what's coming." He is very excited. It made me very excited.
Yeah, he's got that kind of charisma, doesn't he?
Yeah, and as he's leaving, you can see like producers and even a quick shot of Hamada walking by him, like grinning with like ear to ear, like, "All right, y'all told him, huh? All right, cool."
Just Hamada kind of going, "That's my spirit animal right there, Momoa."
So I don't know what it would be. My hope is, Justice League 2 and a Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
That's always going to be my hope.
I know. It could be many things.
It could. It absolutely could.
It could just be the version of Aquaman 2 that he wanted to see. It could be a lot of things. But it's good to see somebody like hanging out with the executives and being really excited right now because we've been super annoyed with them for a while.
Yeah.
But it may be a turning point.
As he's like running down the hallway, he screams, I think he says, "I love you, Warner Brothers," or something like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
I think they're on a good path right now, and I have a lot of hope for the future. It's just it's not what we've been screaming for a minute here.
Mm-hmm. All right, so over to Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
It has an official PG-13 rating.
Good.
So there's that.
It's gonna make it some money. Good.
There's been a lot of rumors popping around. There were some test screenings.
Mm-hmm.
Have you caught up in it? You know anything about that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Heard a lot of Shazam rumors, but not test screenings.
I'm not going to get terribly into it because it is heavily spoilery.
Mm-hmm.
But I will talk about this. Mark Hughes over at Forbes put out an editorial and just kind of talking about the state of Warner Brothers and the DC universe. And he brings up this point. He says, this is a segment, so there was more to it, but he says, "Nor should we forget that Henry Cavill, who, contrary to recent rumors, is not on the verge of making another Superman picture, and did not film a secret cameo for Shazam."
That's the one I've heard the most hubbub about.
Mm-hmm. So he says that, and he says, "For what it's worth, my understanding is that the rumors of Superman being actively shopped around are exaggerations, like most rumors floating around right now." He says, "It seems the reports about James Gunn being quote-unquote offered Superman were misunderstood by a lot of folks, and that Superman is one of many characters technically quote-unquote on the table for filmmakers to pick from when they are negotiating with Warner about potential projects. If a filmmaker actively chose Superman and made a pitch the studio liked, then of course that would be a different situation. But it's not accurate to portray it as if the studio are actively shopping around a Superman project to try and get a director attached." And I would agree with that. My point last week still stands. They are interested in making a Superman movie. They are not saying we're not making a Superman movie for now.
Yeah, they
are saying if someone has an idea, let's do it.
I don't remember exactly. I think that's, I don't know. Maybe I think that's what we said. I get the distinction he's trying to make. It's subtle, but I get it. Like, just because something is an available property doesn't mean that they're actively asking people, "Hey, how do you feel about making this movie?"
Right. And, what I saw Mark say, and if someone point out if I'm wrong, please, it seemed like because a lot of headlines are coming out saying Superman is shelved for Supergirl, according to Mark Hughes.
Yeah, saw a bunch of those.
And that we've heard that before. It's coming back around. What I'm seeing from Mark, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm seeing from Mark says Supergirl is further along in development. And that's it. Like... Which still doesn't mean it's being made. It's just in development. Just like The Trench, just like all these other movies that we talk about and don't hear anything else about.
Right. There's some 20 plus movies in development from Warner Brothers in this universe right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I think it was the last episode of Suicide Squad cast. Tim meticulously names every project that we've reported on. Yeah. Like the podcast community has been reporting on that it was in development in the last few years and just we haven't heard shit about since.
Yeah. In development, like being further in development could mean we have 3 actors attached and they have 2. We have we've got a treatment from this guy, and we've actually got a full script from this other person that we're not going to use, but we have the full script. Or this guy's just on the one page, and this other guy's on treatment. I mean, it could be anywhere in there.
Yeah.
Or there's actual papers attached to this guy.
I think the studio knows that we want Cavill back.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's out there. Now, whether it matters, we'll see. But I think that's out there.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually shot anything for Shazam, or if they're not gonna, it'll if he did, whether or not it shows up will have to do with contract negotiations, and that's fine. That's what happens. And sometimes great things can be made out of bad restrictions. So we'll see what happens. I would say look forward to Shazam. Don't go for a cameo. Go in expecting no cameo at all. And if it happens, well, hell yeah. If it doesn't, okay.
I had people ask me about it. People had seen the rumor, asked me about it, and I pretty much told them, look, 10 to 15% chance. Based on where this rumor is and it not being it being a little too early for, they wouldn't give that away. We don't know anything else other than it's all rumor and sources. 10 to 15. Don't go in there expecting it.
Yeah.
Go in there because that shot of Billy Batson jumping off the roof and crying Shazam is amazing.
Yes. Go in expecting a good Shazam movie. Don't go in, expecting the Man of Steel sequel you've been hoping for.
No.
Even if Cavill was in it. Even if Cavill was in it. You're going to see him for like a minute. Who cares?
It could be
It'd be great to see him. Yeah, it could be seconds. That's not the reason to go see a Shazam movie.
And this movie's goofy, too. Like, do you remember them joking about how there was going to be a Hugh Jackman cameo in Deadpool? And it's just a People magazine cutout of Hugh Jackman stapled to his face.
Which was fantastic.
It was great. It could be that, man. It could be something like that. And do not put it past Sandberg.
Well, we don't know. We know that Superman exists in the universe. We know that, it's not going to be a fourth wall situation. But just go in looking. Just don't expect it. Don't expect anything.
No.
Just go in in hopes of enjoying a Shazam film, please. Either way, it doesn't mean anything is dead, including that universe.
Yeah, but it looks delightful.
It does.
I really don't feel like I'm going to leave disappointed with this film.
I don't think I will. It looks like a great time. So Mark Forbes seems to think that, according to his article, also that the Jared Leto Joker and Harley Quinn Joker team-up movie, whatever, is not going to be happening. It has been pretty much shelved. Just fine.
Don't disagree.
I'm fine with that. I feel like if that was a movie that was going to happen, it should have happened between Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey.
The idea of a Joker and Harley Quinn movie, and you can, if you want to just hold out hope, you can kind of say, well, the Joker didn't go over great, but Margot did. Jared didn't go over great, but Margot went over great. Once we get this next installment out there with her in it, let's see how well she does. And then if that goes over really well, we'll see. We'll see how they go together. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that thing's been stalled out for like 2 years. Screw that. No faith in that one actually coming to fruition.
Yeah. All right, we're going to jump over to television. The old telly. So this is sad. I don't like this. We got this covered as saying that the Carlos Valdes, is looking to move on to new pastures.
Yeah.
And is apparently going to be leaving as a regular after season 5 of The Flash.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
It is not. They even say it's not 100% confirmed. No, but they're pretty confident in their intel.
You've been watching the show this season. I had a feeling.
There's definitely a vibe there.
Yeah. And I'm going to need you to pinch yourself very hard somewhere. Possibly a very sensitive area.
I already was.
Good job.
Are you caught up on Arrow?
Not this week.
Well, then we'll skip that news.
I'm one behind. Sorry, I haven't had time.
All right, so here's the thing. You've already seen Connor Hawke in Arrow. If you're only a week behind.
Right.
This is the same guy who played him in Legends of Tomorrow in their what was it, 2046 episode?
I think it's 2046.
Yeah. He's coming on board as a recurring cast member.
Aha.
Now, what's interesting is the news reports, the way they talk about him, the way they describe him. In the official release, it says John Diggle's adopted son and friend of Mia, who is hiding more secrets than it appears.
Mm-hmm.
So in Legends, he said he was John Diggle Jr., right?
Right.
So I'm thinking Crisis is going to undo something.
Maybe. I mean, didn't he had a son in that crossover? Or no, in that Legends episode.
Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of a crossover. Had a short bit. He had a son there, and then after they came back from Flashpoint, he had a daughter.
No, he had a son instead of a daughter.
That was right. That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
He had Mm-hmm.
There's confusion in them there hills. I see red skies above.
Food for thought, y'all. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Over on Batwoman, they have cast Red Alice, the series villain, at least in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Now, in the comics, Red Alice was Elizabeth Kane, and that was the presumed dead twin sister of Cat Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And she's basically like, she kind of molds herself after Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and it's kind of like Batwoman's Joker, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of Batwoman.
No, I haven't either. That's what I read too.
But they've cast her as Rachel Scarsden, which is, I've never seen her in anything but Birds of Prey, the CW series, where she, as a teenager, played Dinah Lance, who was the daughter of the original Black Canary, who was played by Lori Loughlin.
So I'm guessing you don't have a good feeling so far. So I'm just guessing you don't have a good feeling about this?
I don't know her. Like, I remember her as a kid and as legacy casting at its finest, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, that version of Dinah from Birds of Prey certainly has its fans, if you dig deep enough on Tumblr. But, yeah, I don't know her. I don't know her from anything. I haven't seen anything else she's ever been in. She was in Rain, Lost Girl, Imposters. I've never seen any of that.
Neither me. Have you? Do you have the feeling?
Neither have me.
Yeah, neither have me. Do you have the feeling sometimes it's not so much stunt casting? Like Legacy is still accurate with this theory, but like stunt casting, not so much as it is. Maybe there's a group of people who aren't familiar with the canon and the characters at all. So they go back and watch what they can of what has pre-existed and what would be kind of contributing to the universe that they're about to try to work on. And in doing so, they find people that have already been kind of involved and go, wait, what if we check out that person? And then it works out.
I always just assumed it was one of those situations where, and y'all going to think I'm a dick for saying this, whereas, someone's on the CW or WB, or UPN, and they're on a show, and then that show ends, and they go out into the world to make their fortune, and then they fail. And
then, yeah.
And they wind up back at the WB offices going, you guys have anything else for me? And they're like, actually, we are casting for 13 new DC shows this week. And I remember you were Jimmy Olsen's girlfriend in one episode of Smallville or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they, like, I imagine, like, actors, like, sitting around shaking, waiting for scripts to be put in their hands. That's what I imagine.
There's also a version that I think of sometimes where it's a little bit the other way around. It's almost like you made a deal with the devil with WB or CW or whichever version, which is ultimately WB and CBS. But you made a deal with one of these people, and you made I forget what they call them. Maybe I remember. It's one of those deals where they've got you for a certain amount of properties almost. Like they have you for this. We have the right to recall you a couple times if we feel like you're right for something.
Yeah.
And people go out into the world and start a family and start enjoying themselves and retire somewhere into Montana and enjoy the hills, and then they get a fateful phone call one day. Hey, we're going to have you on this show. No, I don't want to go to Vancouver.
It's like Joker's favor.
Yeah.
How'd you find me? I never lost you, Chaz.
Exactly.
I don't know. It
I
does
changed
seem
my
like
number 17 times. Yeah, we knew about everyone.
if you listen to when these people leave these shows to go do Broadway or what have you, it seems like they go, oh, well, because just like with Carlos Valdes talking about, like, they're leaving the door open, most likely, for him to come back.
Yeah, he's Vibe.
You know?
Like, you can't close the door up for Vibe not to be. Like,
right.
There's no way.
Like, so, just like with Roy, you know? Like, he took off, and then they're gonna, whenever he's getting, you know, gets the feeling, or whenever they get the feeling, like, hey, man, you want to show up? Yeah,
Stars
I'd be good
align
for that,
again,
you know?
and we're good.
Yeah, I'm over my divorce, kind of. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I
need a distraction.
Whatever it is.
Poor guy.
I know. I feel bad for that guy. He's had a lot of crap go down in his life recently.
Yeah, it's been a long run. I'm kind of hoping this cheered him up a little bit. Be around some old friends.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think hopefully what it is CW just provides that sort of environment where they feel like they're coming home, and they feel like if they can leave if they want, and there's no like malice. They're not going to kill off the character and be like, and you're a piece of shit for leaving us, so we're going to kill off your character and you'll never come back.
Yeah, when
hopefully it's like a, you know, well, we've got an Earth 2. You want to come back, you can come back.
What was Thea's name? Was it Wilma Holland? Willa Holland?
Willa
Holland.
Right.
When she left, all of the press involved, you distinctly got that feel that they were they were just grateful that she'd stuck around for so long, and good luck, and if we see you again in the future, it'll be a good time, you know.
Yeah.
But I've also gotten the feeling, listening to a lot of interviews with these people, just over time, that the CW is not what it once was as far as like borderline abusing the people they had in Vancouver. I mean, listen to like, did you
Rosenbaum and Welling have some real horror stories?
Yeah, did you hear that one? Like, all right, so Rosenbaum
Absolutely.
has,
that was the first one I listened to.
Yeah, well, it's the first episode, I think. It's Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, which is a fascinating thing because Rosenbaum's funny and he has some good guests. But they talk about it in a way that, like, he described Vancouver in a way that, like, Tom Welling was talking to somebody about Lucifer, and he kept thinking, like, when they said Vancouver for a second, I think it was Lucifer. Anyway, he was talking to somebody, and like the moment they said Vancouver, he said, like, I had like this shiver in my spine. And I thought that's how I feel about food service. Like, I've been damaged in a way that I don't. It really does. It gets under my skin. Like, it's rough. Like, I don't know what would have to be at stake for me to go back. I kind of like I feel like I made it out, and I'm grateful, and I don't ever want to do that again. Mm-hmm. And that's seriously what it reminded me of. Is like, I'll have moments where something will happen, like even a phone will ring or something, and I'll have a little moment of just like my entire spine will tighten up. Like, yeah, that's how they feel about Vancouver, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was apparently it was rough though back in the day, and they weren't completely taking care of everybody, and supposedly it's a lot better now. Listen to everybody talk; it seems a lot better now.
Yeah, this we can't do it justice here.
No.
So anyway, I'll look forward to Red Alice and seeing what Rachel Skarsten has to do. And God help me, I might try to watch Birds of Prey again. I have it on DVD.
It's on DC Universe.
I mean, it's on DC Universe. Yeah, like it's been a hot minute, man. It's been a long time. Like, I watched that shit first run.
I didn't catch it at all. I watched the first maybe like 10 minutes of it a few months ago, just for, you know, shits and giggles. And the one thing that cracked me up was I was watching, like, they have in the opening kind of montage for, like, the opening sequence for the series is like a little bit of a back history of Gotham recently. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they do is they show a version of the Joker, and it's a really just, it's a super hacky version of the Joker. It looks like the Mask with some extra makeup and a purpler suit, or like a purple suit. It's rough. Maybe purpler suit. What is her? His suit was purple, wasn't it? With
Mark Hamill's voice.
That was
on top of it.
That was what cracked me up though. Was like, I heard the laugh of this guy the first time. I thought, well, at least the actor's got a good vote. Oh, that's Mark Hamill in it. Looked it up, and there it was. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. That's my only memory of it. That's the only thing I've ever watched. I turned it off about 8 or 9 minutes in.
There are elements of it that aren't bad.
I have no idea. All I know, and I would find it dubious. All I know is it was canceled very quickly. I know the era that it was running in.
Yeah, it was airing after Smallville.
Yeah. And I've only watched 10 minutes of it. But I keep thinking, man, I feel like that'd be a chore to watch.
What was one of the things that makes it worth it, if I remember correctly, is seeing some of these sets that appear again, like the Birds of Prey watchtower, and it was clearly like repurposed and made into like Chloe's watchtower on Smallville.
That's funny.
And then I'm pretty sure where Sarah Lance and Sin were hiding out in Arrow.
Nice.
Like, it's just a big room with a big, like, round clock face.
Right. And a couple of open windows to jump out of in an emergency.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. But I'd have to go back and look at it. I might be just remembering that completely wrong. But I was right about Luther Manor.
You were right about that.
Being Queen Manor. Mm-hmm. Anyway, over to Doom Patrol. They came out with a new trailer for Doom Patrol. And did you happen to see that?
I believe so.
They had Alan Tudyk in there.
Yes, I did.
Alan Tudyk playing Mr. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes, please?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
That was my overall take. Yes, please.
Yes. Just everything.
I mean, I'm already paying him, so it's not quite a fuck you, take my money, but might as well be. It is in spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's ensconced in shadow, except for just a little bit of his face, which is still in shadow. Mm-hmm. I'm digging their take. I was wondering how they were going to do Mr. Nobody. Mm-hmm. Because he's, a few steps beyond a squiggle in the comics.
We drew like the wavy lines above the Smelly Peanuts character.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him some dialogue.
Yeah, I'm digging the aesthetic there. And I love Alan Tudyk. He says he compared his take on Mr. Nobody with his character the Joker in the Harley Quinn animated series.
Awesome.
He says, I wanted to make sure Mr. Nobody wasn't the Joker because I'm also doing that for DC Universe. That comes out in October, so I was doing them at the same time. Doing them concurrently because we're recording on them. I wanted to make them different as far as vocally, just specifically vocally, but it's in the character, it's in the writing. It really is there as far as his wry sense of humor, his sadistic side, his anger issues. It's just the self-awareness that starts it out right in the beginning. And he says, I wasn't that good of a bad guy. I was a bad guy. I want to be a better bad guy. So I met a Nazi, as one does. It's like a quote from Mr. Nobody.
Oh. Beautiful.
And in the comics, Mr. Nobody, he becomes a villain. He's exposed to these experiments from this former Nazi, and he basically came out a living shadow. He can drain people's sanity. A lot of that comes from Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol run. And
yeah, he seems to be the playbook.
Mm-hmm. He also went on to talk about his turn as Hamill, not as Hamill, as Joker. And he said,
that's how ingrained it is for you.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I understand.
Like, so much so that when I was watching The Last Jedi, I finally sat down and watched The Last Jedi this week.
Yeah.
And as I'm sitting there listening to Luke Skywalker talk, I'm like, I heard a little Joker in there.
I did too. I got you.
So, by the way, screw all these angry fans. That was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what the big deal was.
Absolutely wonderful. Maybe even my favorite Star Wars movie.
I don't know that I will ever have a favorite, but I just couldn't figure out what the.
I didn't think I would, but that one wound up being it. So anyway, people were asking about the differences between his Joker and Hamill's Joker. He says, I don't know. Here's a funny story. Tony Hale plays Dr. Psycho. Mm-hmm. He came in and I'd said hi, and he didn't. I don't know. I just finished recording, and he was coming in to record, and he was talking to the producer and saying, did you get Mark Hamill to do the Joker? Because if you didn't get him, it's going to suck. And I said, I'm doing the Joker. And Tony Hill says, I'm just saying that because I did the Joker, and everybody said, you're not Mark Hamill, you suck.
Oh, nice.
He says, so knowing I can't be Mark Hamill, I haven't listened to Mark Hamill. I have heard him, but I didn't watch it, so I couldn't recreate it. It's different in the way that he can cuss, though. Having that in your ability and your Joker is fun.
Yeah.
It's a very funny cartoon, animated series, so I think the style of it lends itself to allowing more flexibility. I think I'm doing some of my voice, and sometimes I'll hear it, and then I'll watch the previews of it all, and it just sounds like me. I hope it's okay. I'm just hoping.
Oh, that poor guy. It's a complicated process.
It is.
But we've wanted to hear his version for so long, and I think for good reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down for it. I want to see what his take is.
Yeah, I have faith in our instincts on this one.
You know, I would have said that about Brent Spiner too, and then you look at Young Justice, which is like maybe the most disappointing thing ever on Young Justice is Brent Spiner's turn as the Joker, and you're just like, what the hell were you doing, buddy?
I agree, but I wouldn't have been behind you on the Brent Spiner thing.
I mean, when you look back at his guest stints on Night Court and stuff, absolutely, I would have been like, Spiner is Master of Disguise. Actually, he was in a movie, that awful Dana Carvey movie, Master of Disguise, wasn't he?
Why not?
But he wasn't playing anyone like Data or anyone, he was a very uppity rich person. But
right.
Anyway.
Looking back on Young
You never
Justice,
know.
they should have done the monotone Joker with him. Just do Data. Just do Data and we're going to put Joker on him. It's going to be fine.
I don't know that was the right call either.
I don't know, but either way, I think Cameron Monaghan would have beaten him now. So, oh well.
Mm-hmm. So did you see that first look at Pennyworth, at Alfred Pennyworth?
I've seen a couple of shots, like a couple stills. That's it.
Yeah, like him in a suit.
It's pretty much just him in an outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, like very Bondish, man.
Yeah,
very James Bondish. And that's what they were going for. They've said that. I'm actually getting more excited for this series, more and more excited. Like it's funny. Like I was on Twitter and I saw Brent from Fans Without Borders saying like he can't get on board. He's just not interested at all. And he quoted he shared an article that, and this headline was something akin to Pennyworth will be fighting Jack the Ripper's descendants, and that just made me even more excited. Like the more crazy this thing sounds, the more happy I get about it.
Wow. I don't know. I'm still with him a little bit. I'm trying. I'm not even trying. There's too much going on for me to try, but I kind of wish I'd seen more in the photo. For the photo, I thought, well, okay, yeah, looks like a young, swaggery Alfred.
Yeah, Danny Cannon says it's 20-something years before Gotham. It's a very different world. This is the DC version of 1960s London. He says, the history is different by about 13 degrees. It's not the England we know. It looks and feels like it, but if you look a little closer, you're like, why is it like that? Why is that building there? What war is he talking about? They've described it as unhinged and R-rated. They're saying that Alfred is going to be going up against archetypal villains and classic villains of British literature, which could be a lot of fun.
Sure.
It's going to be 10 episodes on Epics. They did say Jack the Ripper is long dead by the time of the series, but he has descendants. I don't know why. I'm just really excited about it. They've talked about going back and looking at like old Michael Caine movies and James Bond movies and kind of getting that aesthetic and that tone, and I don't know, it's just making me so happy. I've never thought I would want something like this, but the more they talk, the more it is just like scratching a niche I didn't know I had. You know what I mean? Like,
I get you. It happens sometimes. Like, I didn't think I wanted Doom Patrol, and now I'm watching the trailers for that thinking, oh man, it's going to be a good day Friday. But this one hadn't got me there yet. I'm not, and I don't.
Fair enough.
I don't mean anything against it by it. I just not there yet.
Fair enough. Well, maybe you'll be on board with this.
It has not put wind in my sails.
They are making an animated film that is Batman versus the Ninja Turtles.
I saw that. Like just before we called to record.
And they're doing it with the current incarnation on Nickelodeon, which our friend Brandon, who's a huge Ninja Turtle fan, he hates that version. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it. Mm-hmm. But the cast is Troy Baker is playing both Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, he can do that. No worries.
He can do that, absolutely.
No worries.
And his Joker sounds like Hamill. So.
Yeah, he just does a great Hamill impression, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. He was the Joker in what was it called? Suicide Squad, Arkham, something.
Arkham Escape?
Assault on Arkham.
Assault on Arkham. There we go.
So we have Darren Criss as Raphael, Kyle Mooney as Michelangelo, Baron Vaughn as Donatello, Eric Balza as Leonardo, Rachel Bloom, the girl from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend as Batgirl. How weird is that?
Okay.
Tom Kenny of SpongeBob SquarePants as Penguin.
Tom Kenny of so many things. Tom
John
Kenny of
DiMaggio.
like third of Futurama's background.
I feel like everything we report on, we have to say John DiMaggio is in it.
Oh, John DiMaggio?
And he is. Yeah, he's playing Mr. Freeze. Tara
perfect.
Strong. Tara Strong is going to be there as Harley and Poison Ivy.
That's a good legacy cast there.
Who is this? Carlos Alizragu?
Carlos Alizraki. He was the mustached guy from Reno 911, the guy who refused to take off the bulletproof vest. Also, the what was the Taco Bell commercial with the Chihuahua?
Oh, Yo Quiero Taco Bell?
Quiero Taco Bell. And Rocco's Modern Life. That was one of his main gigs, too.
Was he Rocco?
He was Rocco.
Nice. All right. Well, he's playing Bane.
He's got some serious voice actor cred, Carlos.
He's Bane.
Oh, that's going to be good.
And Cass Anvar as Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, you lost me, but the rest of the cast is good, so I trust you.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a trans-dimensional encounter with Batman. And the Ninja Turtles are going to have to face the Rogues Gallery. I'm excited about that. That sounds awesome.
I mean, the actual comics, the IDW comics, have been a lot of fun. Like, Christopher White bought me the first set, and I was very grateful because I enjoyed the crap out of them. And then when the next round, they did basically round 2 of that, and I was like, yeah, sign me the hell up, man. Put that in the pull list. That's coming home with me.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed all of them very much. I don't completely understand the idea of like Batman versus them, but in the books that I have been reading with that series, it's kind of how it starts, you know, the unknown forces, they talk to each other, both kind of strong forces. You know how it goes. Got to test each other, and the next thing you know, they're on the same team. Great little sub-story with Raphael if they do it. It was a lot of fun, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have... last week we talked about Justice League versus the Fatal Five. Mm-hmm. We have a release date, March 30th on digital, 4K and Blu-ray combo, all that, April 16th. So I'm excited about that because it does look like it's going to be back to the Timverse. We haven't gotten confirmation on that, but...
Just visually looks like it.
Yeah, I guess, and it's got a lot of the same people back, you know, Conroy and George Newbern. Right. Everybody's, But, if it's a pile of shit, I'll say it's not canon, just like Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just written that one off. Mm-hmm. Just chucked it out the back door.
Yep. All right, so we've got some feedback here. Mm-hmm. Ryan Huelsman over on Twitter, at the Amazing Rye Guy, says, because of DC on Screen, I'm now on board with the idea of Batfleck stuntman Richard Citrone being the Batman in costume in future Justice League movies with Kevin Conroy doing the voice acting. Yeah. You're welcome, Ryan.
We know visually that'll all connect, so yeah, go for
it. In response to, I guess, one of my comments from last week, the fantabulous Nerdy-tastic on Twitter says, creepy-ass Kevin Spacey is redundant. Couldn't agree more.
Agreed?
Brentak Prime, Brent over on Fans Without Borders, says everyone is pretending they aren't looking at doing a Superman movie. Didn't they offer it to Gunn? Would they have done that if they weren't making it? Thanks, DC on Screen, for putting it that way. You are very welcome. Mm-hmm. I maintain that they are still looking at doing one.
If it was off the table, it'd be off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Would not have been under consideration.
DCU Fan Fam on Twitter says, I think the reason Ben hasn't come out and said I'm not Batman is because it doesn't have the same ring as I'm Batman.
That's fair. Totally fair.
I hope that's true.
Mm-hmm. Last week you kind of want him to come out with a giant exclamation, like if he comes back for something, like if he's confirmed in an next appearance or something, that's going to be an epic tweet, man.
Yeah, I mean, if he's back for anything, it'll be like a San Diego Comic-Con kind of thing.
I wanted to actually just post a panel from the Frank Miller that just, I'm the God named Batman.
I could deal with that.
Yeah, from All Star.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what it's from.
Hey, we said we'd start mentioning where we got those from.
You're right. All-Star Batman and Robin. It doesn't have a proper ending, but it's still a fantastic read.
It's a really fun one.
Last week we talked about, I jokingly said that Ray on Fans Without Borders was like Batman running into or Bruce Wayne running into the smoke and BVS, and I'm the frightened little girl who's pointing up at the building.
Right.
Ray responded, said there is a strong possibility that I have actually run down that street in real life, given that they used Detroit for Metropolis in that sequence.
Yeah, that's nice.
I had to fan myself off, man.
Yeah. That's nice.
All right, we got a voicemail from Bat Jordan Valdes, and we're going to play that right now.
What's up, DC on Screen? This is Bat Jordan Valdes calling in once again. Yeah, I do go by Bat Jordan now. I have not legally changed my name to that quite yet, but I will be doing so very soon. I'm actually legally changing my name to Bat Jordan Kyle Wayne. So yeah, I'm doing that soon. I'm super excited about that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about something you talked about in your last episode. First of all, you brought up the idea that you didn't like the way Christopher Nolan ended Batman's story. And I love Batman Beyond. I love The Dark Knight Returns. But I want Batman to be happy. I like, I prefer for him to be happy because he's my favorite fictional character of all time. Catwoman's my second favorite fictional character of all time, and I want them to be happy together, like what we see in The Dark Knight Rises and like what Tom King has now given us in Batman Annual number 2. The way I see it is like this. That fateful night in Crime Alley, of course we know, Bruce thought he could never be happy again. And so what did he do? Instead of pursuing his own happiness, like, most people do in life, in one way or another, everybody has their own way of doing it, but people pursue their own happiness, most people. And Bruce decides, okay, I can't ever be happy again, but I am going to pursue the happiness of others instead. I'm going to make sure that this tragedy doesn't happen to anybody else so that other people can be happy. And, Tom King is something Tom King establishes, and Dave, you can now catch up on more of his run because the first 32 issues and also issue number 37 are on DC Universe now, along with my favorite animated series, The Batman, which also I'm super eager to hear your thoughts on both these things. The Batman is the show that truly made me the diehard Batman fan that I am today. In fact, it's also what got me reading my first comic book series, which was The Batman Strikes, which was the tie-in comic. So The Batman is super near and dear to my heart to this day. It's my favorite animated series of all time. Super eager to hear your thoughts on both that and more of Tom King's Batman run. But anyway, one thing Tom King establishes is that Bruce attempted suicide in the aftermath of his parents' death. And then he stopped himself and he realized he essentially committed a metaphorical suicide, killing Bruce, dedicating himself only to Batman. And so it was only Batman that lived. But Selina shows him, as he tells her in Heart of Hush, you were the first to touch my heart and remind me I still had one. And Paul Dini's masterpiece, and Dustin Nguyen, Heart of Hush, he tells her that. And Selina shows Bruce that he can still be happy, that he can still live, and I adore them getting that happy ending together in The Dark Knight Rises and in Batman Annual number 2. That is what I want for my two favorite fictional characters of all time. Batcat forever, from the first kiss to the last. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
I honestly think there is a if I were I to ever have control of a Batman comic, there is a very real possibility where I given real total control that I would like forever separate Batman and Catwoman.
If somebody gave you the Dan DiDio role and a 12-year, 15-year guarantee, okay, first order of business, those two are in different books from now on.
Well, there is a, I don't know, like, I have a sick need, like, left to my own devices, without any outside influence, I might have put Batman and Catwoman together in the end. I do enjoy the idea of their union spawning the Huntress, etc.
Yeah.
But, there's also, like, I have a real, need to upset fan bases, I think. Like
yeah, like a truly obstructionist instinct.
I'm really just kidding, but yeah, there actually is a part of me that like really ships Batman and Wonder Woman. Like I was a real fan of that.
I've never been able to get behind it. It's one of those I'm not averse to. I just I can't ship it in any capacity. But I only like Bat and Cat in the sense that it's like anything else in the Bat universe. You give him just enough happiness to be able to taste it, and like it's a Sisyphean tale for him. You get just almost get it up the hill, and then strong wind. You know.
Well, I do think that there is a way to. I think my biggest issue with the The Dark Knight Rises, for instance. I do believe that there is a way for Batman to be happy with Catwoman and still having them be Batman and Catwoman. Like, I don't feel like they will have true happiness without being Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Because I think their mission is only part of it. Like, I feel like psychologically, they need the rush.
Yeah.
That's their purpose in life.
Yeah.
That's their passion.
Yeah, I agree.
To have them retire because they found each other trivializes who they are, I feel like. Like, oh, we found a person to sit and watch TV and have tea with and look at Alfred that we've been stalking for 20 hours.
Right.
Like, I think that trivializes both characters. So I don't have any problem with, Bruce and Selina being together and being Batman and Catwoman and, running around, doing whatever they need to do and stopping criminals. And every once in a while, Batman has to turn around and tell Selina to put the necklace back.
Yeah. See, that sounds
They're
funny.
there for the Joker. They're,
That would essentially make for like a great Brave and the Bold run.
Mm-hmm.
Just every now and then, Selina, I heard that. What? In your back pocket. I heard it. Put him back. What are you talking about? Put the necklace back.
Mm-hmm. Or as it would really go down, they get back in the Batmobile, they're driving away. She goes to check her little satchel, and there's nothing in there. And she looks at him. Really? You can't let me have any fun? No.
No, I returned it. Why, you took out that last guy, threw everything back
It's
with
not
a
fun when
tiny
you just
note
buy it
saying
for me.
sorry for disheveling things.
Yeah. I think there's a way to do that without completely gutting the character. But, my big problem with... I don't feel like Selina and Bruce knew each other well enough in Dark Knight Rises anyway to elicit that kind of behavior.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that.
But I also have lost my train of thought. Isn't that wonderful?
I think this is what you were getting at. I don't like the idea of them retiring from those characters because it was ultimately something they didn't want to do.
Right. And okay, this is where I fundamentally disagree with Christopher Nolan and his treatment of Batman. And I'm not saying it's invalid. It's valid. It's a take, and I respect it as a take. My problem with it, for me personally, my bias is against the notion that Batman as a persona represents a crutch that Bruce Wayne must get over. Like, for me, and I would think Tom King would agree with this.
Yeah.
Jordan, sorry. Is that Batman is what happened after Bruce killed himself. Yes, Selina says, okay, yeah, she represents, his happiness that he can still find, and I think that there is a...
to our favorite, it's the way Conroy played him, Bruce is the mask.
Yes, Bruce is the mask, but at the same time, there is a kernel of Bruce within Batman, and it's important to have that as well.
You gotta have a pilot light,
Yeah, that was something they did in the comics really well after the Bruce Wayne murderer storyline, where they had like a bit where Bruce Wayne breaks out of prison, and then he's just Batman, and he's like, Bruce Wayne can finally die now. Bruce Wayne was always the facade, blah 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 blah. I'm in charge now.
Right.
But then he winds up going back to, all right, I'm still Bruce, kind of. Like, you need that yin and yang. You need both sides of the coin to really work, and I think that's important.
Every now and then, you just need Alfred to bring you a sandwich.
Yeah, and the thing that I really like about Bruce and Selina being together and Batman and Catwoman being married, whatever, etc., is that we finally put to rest all this horse shit about Batman and his romantic endeavors. Like, I don't need any more will they, won't they with Silver St. Cloud or with Talia or with whoever. Like,
that
can't
part
we just...
Yeah, that part I'd like to keep, is that, no, this is the love of his life. It may not ever work out, but we have the one. We know who his soulmate is. Mm-hmm. We can stop dicking around with these other things.
But I think I do have, like, my own Dark Knight Returns inside of me, and if I ever get to write it, I think there is a real chance that he'll wind up with Wonder Woman at some point. Not saying he doesn't stay with Selina for a while or something doesn't happen, where I'm just saying I think Wonder Woman is the way to go with Bruce.
Mm. It'd be a fun diversion. I don't think it wouldn't be where I'd keep it, but I could roll with it for a few issues.
Can you imagine a whole race of Amazons trained by Batman?
I mean, I can, but it would either be like super isolationist as they were before, or they would just destroy the rest of the world. I don't know if there's an in-between.
Yeah, that'd be fun, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, That's it. That's all I got. You got anything else?
2 things. One,
Sure.
Jordan, don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't do it. Don't go to that judge.
Don't change his name?
Don't change that name.
How come?
Although I was mildly excited when I heard Kyle, because for a second I was like, "Oh, Kyle Rayner fan." I think that might be his middle name. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, don't do it. I mean, it'll be funny, but don't do it. It's like getting a tattoo on your cheek.
Yeah.
Like you might as well crumple up your resume.
I don't think it would be bad if, I mean, look, man, you do whatever you want. I support you. But
yeah, for sure. But beforehand, don't do it.
I might cut the bat off. I don't think I would have the guts to do it. Like, maybe change the name to Wayne. That's
solid.
Smooth enough.
Yeah, that's solid. But
Wayne,
like create a name. Yeah, I could see that. But don't do it. Also, if you do it, damn it, man. I gotta admire it.
I support your decision.
Gotta
Jordan. Bat Jordan. Sorry.
Also, one quick congratulations. To Melissa Benoist and Chris Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Is that his name? That's his name, right? Monel.
What? Monel. Chris Wood?
Chris Wood?
Yeah.
That's it, Chris Wood.
What did you say?
I think I said Harwood. I was thinking, what's his name?
You're thinking about David Harwood.
Yeah. I was. Chris Wood. Good for those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I've got for it.
So all you Monel Kara shippers can just rest easy.
You can have reality instead.
Yeah. They're happy
of
IRL. He can still breathe the same air here.
Yeah.
And he's not married. I forgot about an entire season of Supergirl for a second.
Right.
I was like, he can still breathe air. Oh, wait. He could. Anyway.
He also, because the Legion. Oh, yeah. Good for them, though.
Absolutely.
That was it.
Happy for those guys, I guess.
Oh, it's going to be some pretty babies.
Maybe. You don't know.
I don't. Odds are.
Well, I mean, we don't know that they're going to have kids either. We shouldn't force them into anything.
No. I, as the parent of a 3 and some change-year-old who cannot conceive of the idea of adding onto this equation right now, I completely agree with what you said.
As soon as you get married, everyone's like, when are you going to have a baby? Let's not contribute to that.
I genuinely told somebody at work this earlier, because it was like a few weeks ago too, and they're like, so, when's the next one coming? I said, shut your whore mouth. We are not even close to talking about that yet.
That's fair.
Yeah, I thought it was.
All right, well, you want to call it?
Yeah, we'll call it.
All right. Guys, gals.
In-betweens. Boths.
What have yous. Thank you so much. Stop. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We are DC On Screen. You can find us at dconscreen.com. I tweet at David C. Robertson. Where Duck Goss, is that right? Is
Yeah,
that
when I remember I have one. Yeah.
Yeah. Jason's at Duck Goss. And gosh, what are we coming back for news or something else next week? I don't know.
Probably news.
Yeah.
Just a bet.
No promises. If it gets slow or something, we might just need to pull out a Justice League War or something.
Yeah, I'm saying it'll be that or a review. So
yeah.
We'll be back.
Anyway, we'll be back. We love you. Thank you so much for all the feedback, and love to hear more from you. Hit us up anywhere you can. DCOnscreen at gmail.com. We're on Instagram, DC On Screen, Twitter, DC On Screen, or you can message us, as we said earlier, on our own personal accounts. It doesn't matter. Just come. Speak to us. Like Kurt said, man, come as you are, as you were.
I swear it's the first thing I thought of.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Keep some DC on your screen, guys.
Bye. Beautiful. Yeah.
Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Ophelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you